and welcome back to another members only video. But you've probably just realized you can see this. So this isn't only a members only video, but also one for all of you. What am I doing? Let's call this my most public ever members only video. So what is this all about? Well, in a second, I am just going to show you what would be a typical members only video. What's really annoying is I went to film today and there's pimples popping up everywhere. Not happy. So I have been working on a video which I plan to have released next week, but I don't think it's going to be ready. I don't think it's ever going to be ready. It's taking quite a bit of time to put together and it's given me all sorts of headaches and challenges, which I've talked about in previous members videos. But I thought this would be a really good chance to give you an insight to what maybe a members video is all about. You will also know this desk is not always this clean. I thought I'd clean it up especially for you. Don't look on the other side of this camera though, because it's a mess. But if you want to know what it looks like, check out the last members only video. So who wants to become a member of this channel anyway? It's a question I ask myself almost daily since I started it. Really, what it is a chance for you to support what I do with my content that I make. I enjoy doing it and I know a lot of you enjoy watching it. To start off with, it's just a way of being able to support me and to show the love. And what I have done is I've made that membership price as cheap as I possibly can. There's only certain tiers that I'm allowed to do on YouTube, but in Australian dollars it is $1.49 a month, which equals a whole $17.88 a year. So if you want to support me and spend that little bit of money, I'll show you in a second what to do. And most importantly, a big reason for having this members only part of my channel is that I can provide members only video content, which I am having a lot of fun doing. I'm treating it like a diary. I'm posting, at the moment it's been weekly, but the aim is to have it every second week where I post just what's been going on in life, digging a little bit deeper with some of the thoughts that are going up here, maybe even showing some things that I wouldn't put on the public post. Okay, let's have a quick look at how to become a member. You can see here is my YouTube page for the GVB Project, and you can see all the videos that I release, as well as this lovely new members only section down below, which you can check out my members videos. But to join, it's really easy. I'm doing this on the desktop, but you may want to do it on your phone. So I would suggest opening up this web address in a separate browser. This should avoid you paying extra fees if you're an Apple user, but ultimately you're looking for a certain price range. So if you want to join, simply click this join button and it will bring up a lovely pop-up. There I am. And you can see here that you can join for $1.49. If you'd like to pay me a little bit more as a bit more support, there are two other options where you can pay $2.99 or $3.99 a month. But $1.49 is great, and if we have a scroll down here, not only you become a member and have access to all my videos, you get loyalty badges as well as some custom emojis which you can use. So just go and click that join button, it will ask you how to pay, and you go from there. So it's really that simple. So let's get on to a very public members only video for you. Enjoy. Good morning. Today is Thursday, the 19th of September, and it has already been a crazy morning. We had the kids' school concert last night at Hamer Hall, which is one of the big concert halls in Melbourne City, and that went quite late. So this morning both boys slept in, so I had to wake them up, just driven them to school, and now I'm on my way to school because today is the last day for me of school term. So I'm looking forward to school holidays. Woohoo! Bring on the school holidays. So after school, I plan to go get a haircut because it's getting quite long. After that, tonight, Chris and I are heading back into the city to see the musical Sweeney Todd. We're going to see that with Kylie and Lance as a little celebration for Lance's birthday. And so it's a very busy day today. So to drive to work, all last year and maybe the year before, I used to use the tollway, which was so much faster, but I was ending up paying almost $1,500 just to go to and from the school that I work at for 3 days a week, there and back, and it just got a little expensive. So now I am going the long way. It takes me about 20 minutes longer, but it doesn't cost me anything other than my time and patience. So you may remember on my last members vlog that I was still contemplating what I was going to put out for the next official vlog, and it has about 8 more days before I need to have it finished. I'm going to go ahead with it. I'm going to see if I can get it done. Otherwise, this whole vlog will become the new one maybe. I don't know. So just arrived at school, so I am going to get to work and I'll speak to you later. Now to get the final touches of Lance's birthday present. Okay, haircut time. Yeah? Yeah, so I sort of tend to go inwards. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. I like it. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I don't want to go shorter than that.
Yeah, because if you don't style it, sometimes you don't say it, you know?
Yeah.
Better to style it a bit and say,
Great.
"Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I have to go home and wash my hair because I hate all the little hair tingly bits. You wouldn't believe this weather is literally 4 minutes later than the rain just before. Good old Melbourne. And look, there's Mr. Chris in the car.
Hello.
How's your day?
My day's been very eventful.
Very eventful. Like, what did you do today that made it eventful?
I had lots of meetings.
Yeah.
I spoke to lots of people. I did lots of things. Lots of things. And lots of things.
It's for our members only. Are you going to share anything more than that?
Oh, well, what do you want me to share?
Oh, well, that's up to you.
Well, where do I start?
I don't know.
Why is the sky blue?
It's not today. It's gross.
Rainy, rainy.
Rainy, rainy. Where are we off to tonight? Oh, you want to say something?
So that's what we're doing.
Oh, yeah, what are we doing?
We're off to see Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
No, I think it's
Now, I've already told them a little bit about this.
Oh, cool.
So we are off to Sweeney Todd.
Victorian Opera.
No, I didn't say that. So, yeah,
Oh.
Victorian Opera.
Victorian Opera, yes. At the Art Centre.
Yep. In the Playhouse Theatre.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, it'll be good.
But it's we're also going out with our really good friends, Kylie and Lance.
Yeah.
You've seen them before.
Yeah, and I've said this already.
Very exciting.
I mean, you don't know this, of course.
I don't know because I've been working really hard.
I was working too.
I'm sure you
I got my hair cut.
Oh, shit. I cut my hair this morning.
Right, but both had
Myself.
haircuts.
But you can't see that because I'm not saying even though it's doom and gloom.
It's doom and gloom.
But yes, we're on our way into the city as we speak. It's super gross weather.
I hope it doesn't rain when we have to walk to the theatre.
For those people in Melbourne, I'm sure that you know what it's like when it rains for a second and people forget how to drive.
Yes, that is true.
So that's what we're experiencing right this moment.
Good times, huh?
It sure is. Now it's telling us that we're going to be 24 minutes into the city, but I don't believe it, to be honest, because I reckon people on the freeway are going to be driving 60 kilometres an hour.
Well, let's see. So at the moment it says we're going to arrive at 6:39 p.m. and I will check in when we get there. We can test that out.
Sounds good.
Awesome. See you there.
See ya.
Well, we forgot to look at the time when we arrived, but right now it is 6:42, so I'm pretty sure we arrived on time.
I was wrong.
You were wrong. Good morning, it's Friday the 20th, I think, of September, and out for my morning walk. We didn't get home last night until about 11:30 I think it was, so my normal early morning walk isn't quite as early. I didn't start work today until 10, so I've got a bit of time. Just dropped off a parcel for an eBay buyer who bought our final copy of the Merrily We Roll Along playbill. We saw Merrily We Roll Along, as you know, if you have a look at vlog number 2, when we went to Broadway, along with the Madonna shows, we saw Merrily We Roll Along with Daniel Radcliffe and Jonathan Groff. So playbills, when you go and see a show on Broadway, a playbill is free. You usually get one per person, but usually try to pick up a couple more from the theatres, and then I sell them to Australian buyers on eBay. So it's kind of nice to get a little bit of cash here and there from that. Now, speaking of shows, like you saw last night, we saw Victorian Opera's Sweeney Todd. Now, Chris and I had a big chat about last night. We didn't film any of it, so I'll sort of recap it. But I think out of 5 stars, I'd give it 2.5. Maybe 3, but probably 2.5. Now that sounds a bit brutal, but Chris and I together have seen now Sweeney Todd 4 times. I think this is our 4th time together seeing the production, and 2 of the times we saw on Broadway, and they were the most amazing productions of Sweeney Todd that we have ever seen. The first one was in 2017, where it was set out in Greenwich Village, and they decked out their theatre like a pie shop. You actually went in and had a pie for dinner, and then the show happened afterwards and was being performed all around you, on the tables, off the tables, and it was a very small cast, but that production was amazing. Had Matt Doyle, who is somebody that I've always liked. And then last year, when we were in New York in August, we saw the big mega production, which was on Broadway, which starred Josh Groban as Sweeney Todd and Annalee Ashford as Mrs. Lovett, and those 2 together are phenomenal. And it also came with a very full orchestra, which for the hasn't been. So the production had a full orchestra, which it hasn't been performed that way since, I think, its opening original production back in 1979, I think. So when we went into this production last night, it just didn't have the same brilliance or excitement. I just felt a little bit, and I don't mean this to sound in a bad way, because I'll put the disclaimer in a second, but it felt a bit amateurish. Now, we see a lot of really good amateur productions, so I would put this up at one of those really top-notch good amateur productions for the staging, but it felt really clunky. It felt like each song was sort of performed on its own and squished together into a musical. I know if you haven't seen it before, the show is so well written that the storyline carries the show itself, but I wanted a little bit more. I am a little bit thankful that we have seen these amazing productions on Broadway in New York. Also, last night, Kylie Minogue released a new album called Tension 2, which is an extension of her last year's album called Tension, and she also announced a world tour starting in Australia in February 2025, which is next year, and pre-sale goes on sale early next week. So now we need to come up with some money to go and see the Kylie shows here in Australia. I'm not sure how many we'll see. Maybe we'll just see the 2 Melbourne ones. But yeah, it's going to be good. I'm glad that she's touring. Look at that beautiful sunrise. I can't see now because I looked at it. That was silly. But this stretch of road here is where I filmed the big walking scene at the beginning of the new vlog. Well, maybe, hopefully you see the new vlog. Yeah, this is where it was filmed. I do wonder what people think when I'm walking up the street holding the Osmo camera, just having a yap away first thing in the morning. There's cars everywhere. Be brave. Be brave. Okay, it's time for me to put the camera away. I'm going to get a bit more fast-paced walking, and I will speak to you on another day. I don't know if it'll be today, but maybe a bit later on in the week, to let you know how I am going with putting together vlog number 27. KFC line. KFC Friday. Yum, 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 yum. Good morning. I didn't bring my Osmo camera on for my walk this morning, so you have to deal with the grainy phone vision during this slightly darker part of the morning. But last night you saw us have KFC for dinner, and it is so yummy. We try to have it almost every Friday night. It's our little treat, but it keeps getting more and more and more expensive, that I think that treat might have to end one day. But I'm out for my morning walk, as I always am. There was only one day this week I didn't go for my walk, but other than that, I've been walking every morning. Now, I just realized that yesterday when I was on my walk, I talked about filming along a stretch of path, and realized you have no idea what I'm talking about there, because there's no context to the video that I was referring to. So I've been talking a little bit to my members in the last video about what I'm trying to work on as my next public YouTube video, which at the moment is doing my head in the topic. It's kind of ironic, but the topic is about finding clarity and purpose and what the meaning of life in a way is, and it's just not coming together. It's feeling a little self-indulgent at the moment, but maybe the video is just meant for me in the end. So I'm not sure what to do with it. It's about 5 minutes complete at the moment, and it feels a little bit messy, so I'm trying to make that work. And if it never sees the light of day in a public sense, I will definitely be sharing it with my members only section. So I will try to get that out in the next few weeks, and whether it's members only or whether it's a public video. But I am almost home, so I am going to just enjoy the last part of this walk without my arm hurting holding my phone up. Well, we're right near the end of this very public members only video. I hope you get an insight to maybe what these are going to be all about, and then we'll get a little bit more personal, especially if I'm talking about my sober journey. So it would be great if you want to become a member and support me and get to find out a little bit more about what goes on in here. But how I end all my members videos is with a little flashback to the past. We've already seen Chris and I rolling down a hill in a big inflatable Zorb in New Zealand, and we also had a peek through the W Hotel in London's penthouse suite when Chris and I were there to see Madonna's Madame X tour in 2020. But today we are going back to November 2017 when I was interviewed by an Instagrammer called the Happiness Project. Now, unfortunately, that page does not exist anymore, but ultimately what he was doing was exploring everyday people about what they thought happiness was to them. And so here is my video of that. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you at the next one. Bye. Grew up in southeastern Melbourne suburbs, normal everyday family. Went to high school, ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. We had kids, and 11 years down into that journey, I came out as gay. That was probably one of the biggest pivotal moments in turning my life around to being more myself. And through that process, it just had to start again completely alone. I think happiness is, for me, when I feel at peace with the decisions that I'm making with my life. That life's full of up and downs. It has really difficult moments. It has challenging moments. It has some really fun, exciting, joyous moments. And I like to think that happiness encompasses all of those areas. So if I am in a down moment, or if I am struggling with something that's going on, I know that I'm doing it for my right reasons, and I can feel pretty pleased with that, especially when it comes out the other side. So I think that's what happiness is for me. Challenging myself, but even just challenging the norm, whether it's artistically, and I find myself as being a very creative person, whether it's in my photos or my performance, or even putting shows on and working with people. I find that I'm very passionate about changing ideas, or even when I'm working with people, I find that what draws me in is to help somebody see something that they've not been able to see before, maybe because their lifestyle or the way they've gone through life so far hasn't allowed them to come across anybody or any information that's going to help them see that. So I kind of want to be that person that's in the middle, sort of the middleman, to allow that change to happen and to show that it does travel on the other side. I think for me, the coming out was probably the main one. That changed my world and outlook. I mean, growing up back as a teenager in the early 90s, my experience around, that's right. I guess growing up in the early 90s, there weren't many gay role models in my life. If anything, there wasn't really any. There was 2 boys that I knew in school that were gay, who were openly gay, and that was it. And so I never thought that it was something that, it didn't feel like it was important at the time to me to explore. It's not how I planned my life to go. No, I just assumed I was going to get married, have the family with kids, which is what I ended up achieving, but it was missing a core element. I think it was being myself. A life well lived. I think if I get the chance, hopefully that I do get the chance to be on my deathbed and have the chance to reflect back, and I'm not just wiped out in like a car accident. I do hope that I do get that moment to reflect back, but I don't want to feel, or I don't want to be saying to myself, what if I had only done ... or I wish I had. You don't really hear anybody say, I wish I spent more time at work. You don't hear that. It's usually, I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I spent more time with my kids. I wish I went out and said the things that were really important to me. I wish I'd let people know what I believe in and what are my values, and I think that's what I believe that's what I'm trying to do now in the last, at least the last 6 years, is to really challenge that idea of, if I am on that last moment, will I feel like I've accomplished what I'm after? Happiness.